Guys, this is some really good stuff today. Dr. Pete checking in. I really encourage you to stay to the end of this monologue because I think it's so powerful. So it's something like fractals and fasting, or fasting as the ultimate fractal and the ultimate opportunity to align ourselves from the most small level to the highest towards God. There is this very interesting framework to understand or understanding the New Testament, as described by Dr. Jordan Peterson as a meta narrative. For example, never mind if Jesus literally died and resurrected. Instead, see the underlying thesis deep within, which is one that speaks to the relationship between duty and self improvement ongoing. Jesus as an example of how we are to live through hyperbole. A reward is commensurate to the challenge you accept to undertake, no matter if others support you or not. Never mind that Christ died and resurrected. Each night we die and resurrect in the morning with an opportunity to improve ourselves. Something like that. Okay, you hear these ways of describing the New Testament stories. It is interesting that as Dr. Peterson develops these ideas further, he's becoming more and more willing to accept that indeed Jesus did literally die and resurrect within history, within a historical moment. How does this at all relate to fasting? Fasting is the literal death and resurrection. It is the manifestation of the Spirit in the physical world. It is the engineering that rings true through the New Testament and is born in our bodies. Take this for example. Did you know that at any one time, ice, is actually turning into a liquid and evaporating like it is boiling? These three phases of water are always present, but just in different proportions and at different speeds. It is ice right now because overall, a majority of its parts are solidified presently. It is the same way with our bodies. All of our parts are currently dying and birthing or renewing. It is the proportion of these two phases that determines if we are dead or alive. Can you be too much alive? Well, that is cancer with unlimited growth potential. Can we only be partly dead? Well, that is autophagy and the body ridding itself of non functional cells. Much of reality stacks up in this way. There is a micro level and a macro level of these phases. This has sometimes been called fractals. Our cells form tissues, tissues organs, organs turn into organ systems, and we have the human body. Humans, another level. Humans form families, families communities, communities into cities, and eventually national states. The key in this expanding fractal pattern is alignment, as all of these things need to align towards something great, something good. Religion is necessary because it allows us to align these parts, these levels, these fractals towards a common good, the ultimate good. Take, for example, seemingly perfect parts like exercise and nutrition, these components. If you don't align exercise with the ultimate good, you can overwork your body into breakdown. You can become vain. You can forego many things that a healthy, strong bodied person is supposed to do to make good on that investment of time and effort. Why be strong if you can't use it for providing and protecting? You must align that strength, that health, with something worthwhile. Same with nutrition. With the wrong goals, you can become an anorexic or morbidly obese. We have to align our efforts always with the highest good. And when we don't pick the highest good, imbalance inevitably occurs. We need to get our foundation aligned. What is our foundation? Our bodies at a micro scale. It's important that all the fractals align to the highest good. And so I think about communities. I think about our human bodies. I think about all these different things that need to align towards the highest good. Well, what's so fascinating to me is that fasting is an ability to get even your cells aligned with the highest good because fasting operates at that micro level. We take fasting and align it with the spiritual, with the highest good, God. Now we are monitoring our food, our physiology, and our health in the wisdom and cadence of the church. What results when we allow God into our bodies? Beauty, longevity, and productivity. And as I've mentioned many other times, 80% of all disease is preventable. And when you intermittent fast, like the Athos diet, all mammals live 30 to 40% longer. Okay. So that is proper alignment using something like fasting. To begin aligning, we need to start with something that is very fundamental to us, and that is what we eat, when we eat, and how much we eat. By doing so, we literally can change our microcosm through growth hormone release, hormone balance, autophagy activation, sirtuin activation, and much, much more. And that way, death and life are in the right balance. stacked up on top of each other at all phases and all levels, from the micro to the macro, ultimately aligned with the highest good, which is God. That is the consequence of aligning our bodies with our God. That is why Jesus not only in stories showed us how to live, but literally came to earth, lived, died, and resurrected. Jesus performed miracles, and fasting is our miracle. Guys, this is so powerful because, as I've said in many other podcasts, when you start to live in a way that is aligned with God through fasting, and you stack that up at the human level and community level and nation state level, you can see how this all results into huge changes to humanity. And again, as you can see, what happens when we are not aligned with God and how this can really harm humanity through debt and illness and pathology and problems of all sorts and kinds. So, by all means, get the fractals and alignment right by fasting so that you can begin aligning yourself at the most basic level towards something that is the most high.